Welcome to the debut episode, the first ever installment of Not As Scripted here on YouTube.com. Sean's Unitainment, where I always keep it prolific, consistent, and dedicated. What is Not As Scripted? Well, it's a longer version of news, rumors, and headlines in WWE, TNA, maybe ROH, maybe some New Japan, who knows? We're going to see how it's going to sizzle. We're going to see how it gets over. If this gets over, if it gets enough comments and feedback, if it gets enough likes and shared on Facebook and Twitter, hell, we'll continue this long, talked about, in-depth analysis and discussion. For the first part, we'll talk about all the news and all the rumors. Huge TNA report tonight. Huge TNA developments on WWE buying TNA. What's really behind this whole thing? Who screwed this whole thing up? Why is it so complicated? Why is it so astronomical? In the second installment of Not As Scripted, I will be taking your messages, your questions, your comments, and your feedback. We will also be doing shout-outs. So if you want a shout-out on Not As Scripted, all you got to do is leave a comment. Simply leave a comment. You don't even have to ask for a shout-out. Just leaving a comment alone could get you a shout-out on the second installment. Then on the third installment of Not As Scripted, the third installment, I will be running down the top, the best of the week in the WWE. The best matches, the best storylines. What was the better show, in my opinion, Raw or SmackDown? The better championship. Who was the top wrestler? Who was the top woman? And then, ladies and gentlemen, in the fourth installment of Not As Scripted, it will be a live call-in show where you, the viewers, you, the subscribers, get to interact with me. We're going to do this in 4 installments. Over the course of the next 4 days, we're talking Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We're going to do this each and every week, every month, and every year. Well, Sean, in the past, you've done things like this. You haven't stuck to it. We wanted longer videos. We asked for this. We asked for that. I did wrong. I messed up. I screwed up. Now I got a different philosophy. I got a new lease on life. I'm feeling a little bit happier. I'm not as depressed. This is going to be all TNA oriented with a WWE sizzle added in because it does have a tie-in with WWE buying TNA Impact Wrestling. So once again, to get this over, okay, to maximize the potential and the performance, remember, your comments to this channel, your feedback is respected, okay? It is realized, and it's damnly well recognized. Let's get into the news and rumors. Dave Meltzer reports in the latest edition of the Wrestling Observer that the WWE was back out of the picture in regards to buying TNA. According to a report from Anthony of Forbes, WWE is still involved in negotiations and believes that they are in confident buyer stance. It is noted that the WWE was comfortable letting the situation play out because they know the pressure that TNA is under. I am told that WWE believes that a deal may come down to the final minutes and they are comfortable closing a deal in that scenario. They are also comfortable letting TNA move forward with their pay-per-view this weekend and TV tapings next week. Well, that's a positive. That's a good motive, right? If they can somehow find the funding. Well, yeah, if they can find the funding. And we know that's a huge problem for TNA because, well, they are out of money right now. And Billy Corgan is working around the clock, just like I do here on Show and View. I work around the clock on all news, rumors, and headlines. Dave Meltzer reported in the latest edition of the Wrestling Observer that Dixie Carter, who is still majority owner of the company with 70% of the stock, is being blamed for making the sale a mess. Out of touch. Not knowing what direction, not knowing what you're doing, don't have that business savvy about professional wrestling. That kind of thing is going to happen from time to time. You get thrown in the mix and you're in that wrestling bubble and you don't get out of that bubble and you don't grow and you don't expand, and then this happens. It is a complete and utter mess because what is being happening now is, you're surrounding yourself in yes men. You're surrounding yourself and trying to find easy ways out. And it's just not going to work like that. It's not going to manifest itself. Meltzer noted that a deal pretty much has to be made by this Friday, by tomorrow. Otherwise, there will be no Bound for Glory pay-per-view, which is one of their biggest pay-per-views. And there will be no pay-per-view on Sunday and television tapings next week, which would put TNA, and this would put even more trouble and more drama, it would put TNA in breach of their television and pay-per-view contracts. That doesn't guarantee death, but television partners could use it to cancel the show. And if Billy Corgan wants to find the buyer, and if it's not going to be WWE, if it's going to be someone else other than WWE, which we're all hoping for, and if they don't go along with this pay-per-view, then TNA is going to face even more trouble, and the uphill challenge is going to be that much tougher. The advancements and the growth and the potential, it's going to take a lot. I mean, it's going to take one hell of an effort on TNA's part in Billy Corgan and whomever takes it over. Carter will be making the decision on who gets the company. Carter doesn't have the money to afford this week's shows, which would cost around $600,000, and needs someone who can fund it. Another person close to the situation told Meltzer that they thought Arrowlux had control of the company last week, and they thought Corgan had it this past Saturday. Now, I know the same BS is still going back and forth, they told Meltzer. She is something else. I've never met someone so clueless. She is out of touch on all levels. Both sides want her out. There is no doubt there. It's the only thing they can agree on. Meltzer added that TNA's debt is in the millions of dollars. They are in debt millions of dollars. So you're going to wonder, is this a winning proposition? Is this a combination you want to get yourself into? Do you want to get involved in something quite like this? This is a dangerous game. It's almost like a deadly game is being played right before our very eyes. Like I said, I don't want to see this compromise. I want to see this growth. I want to see potential. I want to see the strengthness. I want to see TNA provide to be absolute competition to WWE. So then the WWE won't be so lackluster. So then it will force the WWE to up the ante, so to speak. Meltzer added that TNA's debt is in the millions of dollars, and creditors, including Billy Corgan, Arrowlux, and others, and the debt may very well be greater than the value of the company at this point. The gap is even more pronounced if the company can't get the $600,000 they need by Friday. TNA will be in breach of TV deals, quite possibly lose them, and literally lose all value other than that of the tape library, which is what the WWE is most invested in. TNA has 30 hours or so secure funding. And if they don't, it's hard to imagine a scenario where the company doesn't need to file bankruptcy. I mean, as I read this, ladies and gentlemen, this gets more conflicting. This gets more prevailing. This gets worse and worse. And that has been, trial and error. It's going to take a lot of trial and error on TNA's part. Like I said, TNA has 30 hours or so secure funding. If they don't, it's hard to imagine a scenario where the company doesn't need to file bankruptcy. Even if the tape library and trademarks are sold to WWE, that most likely won't cover all of TNA's debt. Not even that will get the job done. Not even that will manifest and materialize. For WWE's purposes, with no rush on their side and no competition for the intellectual property, if it went, it's not ridiculous to suggest that they could get a lower price that way. And that's probably the only way and the only advantage that TNA has going in this report is an advantage. There aren't many advantages and loopholes and everything else that goes along with it. TNA is in a world of trouble, and I'll tell you what, if they can bounce back from this, if they can be smelling like daisies and have the cherry on the top and be like, well, we came out of this is going to weigh heavy on the progress and the development of TNA, no matter what the future holds, no matter if they go out of business, no matter if WWE takes them over, no matter if another company takes them over, no matter if Billy Corgan is at the front lines. TNA is going to have to walk the line. And remember the rumors about TNA rebranding and re-strategizing, new focus, new scenarios, making wrestling what it was meant to be, what it was supposed to be in 2016. So, ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot of elements. There is a lot of variables. And this is why I've been keeping up to date on this situation. Now, I'm not the biggest TNA follower. I haven't really been paying attention to Impact Wrestling. But once again, my viewers and subscribers demanded that I cover TNA news and rumors because it's going to get very, very risky. It's going to get very interesting and very intense. And that's exactly what it has been. As a matter of fact, my TNA videos are now gaining more popularity and more views and more comments than my WWE videos. So if that doesn't tell you what's going on with TNA, I don't know what does. So, ladies and gentlemen, remember, there will be 4 installments of Not As Scripted, where we are doing the top of the news and the rumors, wrap-up reports, live calls, taking your questions, shout-outs. We're going to be doing the whole shebang 4 days long here on Sean's Entertainment. It will start Thursday night and it will end Sunday night. Remember, where we'll have live call-ins, Skype calls, chats, the top wrestlers of the week, the top show of the week, the top champion of the week, the top match of the week. Subscribers and viewers, thank you for watching The Brash. Sean's Entertainment on YouTube.com. This has been a special wrap-up report and the newest developments, because here on Sean's Entertainment, I always give you the newest developments, the newest news, the advancements, the changes, or if a rumor or headline, quite frankly, doesn't end up happening, well, then I just tell you, well, it probably ain't going to happen. And that's why I give you updates. I give you updates because I want you to know that I am here to keep you in the know, and we keep it all in the ring. And it will be supreme because we are going to be the fighting machine. Thank you for watching another installment of The Brash. Sean's Entertainment, this has been the first ever debut edition of Not As Scripted. Subscribe for more what you asked for.